Do you want to know the quickest and easiest way to clean a 1,000 litre tank? Let me show you. Okay, so first thing we got going, DD Professional 3,000 litre per hour pump. It will get this tank emptied 50% in about half an hour. Clean towels, clean hands, let's do it. So, DD Professional pump, straight out the tank, some normal garden hose, straight out the window. No buckets, no siphon, just pump it straight out. So, 3 key things that I use and that we need is white sponge. Okay, this is from Maidenhead. It's the sponge, it's the white sponge, not the blue one, obviously. It's designed for acrylic and plastic tanks. Obviously, I look after tanks for a living, and this has not let me down yet. It won't scratch your tank, and it's not as rough as the blue pads or the standard green pads that you can get in a store. Blade cleaner, again, from Maidenhead. Okay, and these blades are replaceable. Comes with a nice handle and a couple of other extensions. And an Ehiem vacuum with a couple of adjustments and upgrades. I've had a 3D printed end just to concentrate the suction, and the Energizer lithium batteries just for a little extra and stronger suction. Thanks, Ken, for the recommendation, and I could not live or do this job without it. So what we're going to do is, while the tank's emptying, we're going to clean the glass first. Reason being, you don't want to do the sand or touch the sand or substrate or stone before you start cleaning the glass. One of the most important things to remember, especially if you're doing a tank with optiwhite glass, it's obviously going to scratch a lot easier than standard glass. If you've touched the subtray or cleaned the sand prior to wiping the glass down, you're going to have a lot of sand and subtray up in the water column. All that's going to do is collect on your sponge, and you're then just going to wipe that and rub it across the glass itself, which is, if you're wondering, you've got this nice new tank, you know, you've been extra cautious, you've been being really careful, not used blade cleaners, and you're finding you've got scratches on your tank, that could be the reason why. So leave the sand to the very end, just so you know you're not kicking up any type of sand or any of the substrate to catch under your sponge to then rub across your glass. Now, the reason you want the blade cleaner, with the sponge I only ever clean down to about 1 inch or 2 inches to the substrate. Reason being, again, we were talking about the sponge and catching sand underneath the sponge before. If you're pushing the sponge right down to the bottom of the substrate, you're then going to be putting sand up into the sponge and up your glass. So leave the final 2 inches, again, blade from Maidenhead, and just do the last little bits at the bottom yourself. Okay, Ehiem back time. Again, like I said, I could not do my job and I could not look after this tank with white substrate without one of these. So what we're going to do, we're going to vacuum all the waste, the poo, the wet leftover food off the sand first, turn the sand over a couple of times, vacuum it again, get the sand looking nice and white and clear, and get that waste out that's going to obviously be contributing and giving us ammonia and high nitrates.
Now these are the best thing since sliced bread. Anyone that says these don't work, you either, like I said, I've got upgraded batteries in here than what they come with. You can't use cheap batteries. Now, the better the battery you use, the better the suction. So again, I use the lithium, the Energizer lithium ones. And I've also just had a 3D print of a tube just to concentrate the suction a little more. You know, it takes time, it takes practice.
There we go. So we've got a nice clean white substrate. Now it's been vacuumed, turned over, vacuumed again. We'll let the last few little bits settle. As the tank's filling up, give it another vacuum, keep it clean, get everything out. And that's pretty much the cleaning done. As it fills up, I'm just going to clear and scrub the diatoms off. These guys sulking. Dramatic, innit, guys? Such a hard life. Funny old things. Yeah, we'll get the tank filled up. While it's doing that, we're just going to scrub down these logs. Got a little bit back here on the rocks. And again, 25 minutes, half an hour. While it's filling up, sit down, have a beer, job done. Right, so filling up, I use a 3-way HMA system and a nitrate vessel. This here dechlorinates my water pretty much by itself. So it removes all the chlorine, chloramine and so on, so I don't have to treat the water, dechlorinate the water. Nitrate here down in the south comes out really high at the legal limit, so this removes all the nitrate from the water. So dechlorinates the water, removes all the nitrate pretty much.
and run straight in to the tank.
So while this tank's filling up, it's a bit sweet really. It's actually the last deep clean that I'm going to do on this tank. It's the dream tank, and it's the tank I've been waiting years for. The big tank was waiting for concrete floors, moving home. But as of this week, we're going to start closing it down, and it's going to become a reef and salt water tank. A couple of these guys are being sold. They're going to real dedicated discus keepers, and the rest are going to be going into the fish room, and the 250 litre salt water tank and the stock are going to be moved over into here, so it's going to be a 1,000 litre reef tank. Yeah, so like I said, with the cleaning tips, again, like I said, with the sponges, I use the white sponges from Maidenhead. So they're made for acrylic and plastic. So again, this tank here, it's completely optiwhite. So again, optiwhite glass scratches a lot easier, makes everything obviously a lot safer, and me more confident to obviously really scrub on the glass tough. Do the glass first, do the sand after you've finished with the glass, just so you're not kicking up any of the sand or the substrate, and you're not getting that caught underneath the sponge. Blade the final inch or two at the bottom. Again, like I said, I get to look after people's tanks for a living, so I need to make sure they're nice, new, shiny tanks stay nice and shiny with no scratches. Other than that, like I said, empty it out through a pump, get your cleaning done while the tank's emptying. Now you can just sit down, chill out, and have a beer while it fills up. Until next time, look after yourself.